Hello there, welcome back to Blue Harvest Vintage Toys. And on this video today I'm just going to go through the first 12 Star Wars vintage figures and talk a bit about their current value. Now I'm going to break down the figures and the accessories because I do believe that the accessories are worth a lot more than the figures these days. And I am going to be using the Star Wars tracker and my own knowledge. So you may not agree with me on some of these. So if you've got any points, let me know in the comments below. We can start a little discussion. So first up, we've got Luke Skywalker. Some call him Luke Fanboy. You can call him whatever you want. I'm going for the yellow hair one. And the Star Wars tracker has him at £20 minimum and £131 highest, with the average at 48. So as with all these figures, it really depends on condition, but I think you'll be talking about £20 to £30 for the figure. Onto his yellow lightsaber, and again you're going to be paying at least 20 to 30 for one of these with the tip on. Even without the tip, you're going to be paying at least £10. They are quite rare with the tip on. So complete, I give Luke Skywalker a value of £50. Onto Ben Kenobi with white hair. This figure obviously includes the vinyl cape, and the average for this figure on Star Wars Tracker is £25. Not as sought after as Luke, but with that vinyl cape, it brings him in around the same price. And onto his lightsaber now. Like with Luke's, it's quite hard to find, especially with that tip on. And again, you're going to be paying about the same price. So I'm going to value this figure at £35. Onto the very first figure I ever got, and it's Darth Vader. As with Ben Kenobi, you've got the black vinyl cape that goes with him. And as there is an abundance of Darth Vaders, the value of this figure is not very high. You could probably pick a good one up for about £20. But the Star Wars tracker does say an average of £27, so between £20 and £30 for the figure. Onto the red, or orange sometimes, lightsaber. Again, there's quite a lot of these about. I say a lot, there's not a mass amount of them, but they're not as rare as the Ben or the Luke lightsaber. But if you do want a tip on, they're usually about £20, £25. So I would say about a value of £30 to £35 for Vader, as it does appear to buy complete. Next up we have the little fellow without any accessories, but the value does vary because of condition. If you want a mint sticker front and back, and the head that actually clicks, you're going to be paying about £30. Next we have probably the cheapest of the first 12, and that's Chewbacca. This is probably because it was in the early bird kit, and everybody got a Chewbacca. There are probably more of these figures than the Darth Vader, and like the Darth Vader, there was only one of these in the entire line. The good thing about this figure is that you never really get any paint rub. Maybe sometimes on the bandolier, but usually you can find Chewbacca really mint. And for that reason, I'm going to value him at £10. The Star Wars tracker actually has the minimum of 77p. And you know, I bet that's not really in bad condition. And now onto his bowcaster. Now there's two versions of the bowcaster. There is the early bird version, which is like a greeny, translucent plastic, which most people wouldn't really recognise. And there's the normal version. But again, you can always find Chewbacca's bowcaster. So I will give that a value of £10. And a value of the complete figure at £20. Next we have the most expensive figure in the first 12, and it's Princess Leia. That is not for the figure though, that is for the blaster, which I'll talk about in a minute. As with the Ben Kenobi and the Darth Vader, you do get a vinyl cape with Princess Leia, and it's white, and she's all white, so it's really hard to find one that is minty white. Normally get them yellowed, all different colours really. So to get a minty white one, you're going to have to pay. The average on the Star Wars tracker is £67, but the minimum is £7.77. I'm thinking that must be without the cape. Another thing you've got to look out for on the Princess Leia is the head gets wobbly, as it's quite a thin neck. So I'm going to give the figure itself a value of £30. But as I said, it's the blaster that you're going to be paying for. There are 5 Princess Leia figures in the vintage line. 3 of them have this Princess Leia blaster, but only this one has the black Princess Leia blaster. The blue one I have seen at £50 on eBay, but we're not looking at eBay prices. That is like a different planet sometimes. You sometimes have to get lucky. I got my Princess Leia with the black blaster for £23. Didn't have a cape, but To get the blaster that cheap I was really lucky. And that's the thing about collecting vintage Star Wars. You got to be patient, you got to be lucky. When people say they can't afford it, you have to be elitist to collect these. It's really not true. I can tell you story after story of getting cheap vintage figures. In fact, I once got a Princess Leia Organa figure at a car boot about 3-4 years ago for 20p. So you don't need to break the bank to collect these figures. But having said that, the Princess Leia Blaster is valued around £60 to buy separately. But like I said, just remain patient and one will come up like mine did. On to the captain of the Millennium Falcon now, Han Solo. I'm going with the big head version on this one. It's the version you get less paint rub on them. I don't think I've seen many little head Hans without paint rub. So you can get a Han Solo for about £30 in good condition. His blaster, meanwhile, is usually about £15. It is the rarer of the two main blasters, and you do need a few of them for the vintage line. So for the whole figure complete, I'd say about £35. On to C-3PO now, and it's another one of those figures that's abundant and easily found, although the limbs can always be really loose, so check for that. But unlike the Death Star droid, this vac metalizing gold colour doesn't seem to wear off. So again, most of these figures are quite mint. The Star Wars Tracker has it at an average of £13, and as it has no accessories, I'm going to give it a value of £15. Next up we have the Imperial Stormtrooper. Yes, it might be 4POA, but it does look good, and you do need a lot of these to army build. But again, it's another one of those white figures. It's not nearly as bad as the Snowtrooper, because the plastic is different, but you still get a lot of yellow in on these Stormtroopers. So to get a minty one, you're probably paying about £20-25. But then he does come with the Imperial Blaster. The good thing about this is it's not as expensive as the Han Solo Blaster, slightly cheaper. I bet you can get one for about £10. There are two colour versions, there's a blue and a black one, but I don't really bother that much about it. So you'll be looking about £30 for a Stormtrooper figure with Blaster. Next we have Sand People. Yes, Sand People, not Sand Person. They're people. And I'm going with the Solid Cheeks version. I'm not going to go down the Holotubes version route. I like so many of the first 12, it comes with a vinyl cape. You can usually find these in good shape, as I think the kids didn't play with the Sand People as much as Princess Leia, Darth Vader. So you can probably pay about £25 for a decent condition Sand People. The accessory it does come with is a gaffy stick. And again, these are not really easy to find, but they're not hard either. You'd probably usually pay about £10 for one. So for a complete Sand People, I'd say about £30. The 11th figure we have is the Death Squad Commander, later known as the Star Destroyer Commander. This is quite an unusual figure. You can generally find them in really good condition. Not much paint rub on them. So you'd probably pay about £15 for one of these. And again, it came with the Imperial Blaster. And I said before, about £15 for one of these. So I'll say about £25 for a Death Squad Commander. And finally on to the little fella, the Jawa. And I'm definitely not going to do the vinyl cape Jawa, because those can go for anything up to £1,000. But I'll tell you something, this is the figure that has shot up recently. You used to be able to get the one for about £25, but I don't think you could get one now for less than £30 with his little cloth cape. Maybe it's because of the Mandalorian, I don't know. Maybe the Sand People might be going up in value. We'll have to wait and see. He's definitely one little figure that is hard to get at a decent price. Even without his cloth cape, I think you're going to be struggling to pay less than £20. So I'll say £30 for the figure. And on to the blaster. There are two variants of this blaster. There's one with a bump and one with no bump. The value on each is marginal, and it's usually between £15 and £20. So for the complete figure, I'm going to be really conservative here and say £40, and that is rising, as I say. He's one expensive little fella. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, let me know. I'll be doing more valuations of all the rest of the figures. Maybe I'll do the last 17 next. But if you are starting to collect vintage Star Wars figures, I wish you very good luck. It's an exciting and interesting hobby. That's why I talk about it mostly. But the three main rules are: be patient, don't overstretch your budget, and make it enjoyable. If it's stressing you out and it's not enjoyable, it's not for you. So get out there and start the hunt. I am always here for you to ask questions. So thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. Check out all my other videos and let me know if there's anything that you want to see. Until next time, may the toys be with you.